Well, what's up? How's it going there? Hi, I'm Crapgamer. How are you guys? Hmm, good. That's good to hear. Good to hear. Um, you know, sometimes I like to do these little kind of shows or whatever and talk about some of the news. I'm kind of looking for some news because I'm wondering if anything kind of broke today. Was there any kind of news that just came out of the blue that just maybe is worth talking about? This could be interesting. I do think this could definitely be interesting. So yeah, definitely very interesting stuff. So here we go. Guess what? I'm looking for something, and there it is. Sony, Sony, Sony has canceled E3 for the first time in their history. They're not going to be doing an E3 show. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, right? You're thinking, well, maybe they'll do a direct like Nintendo. No, because they clarified that they're not doing anything. They're doing no conferences around E3. They're not even going to be there. They're not even going to have a booth at E3. So even though Nintendo stopped holding press conferences at E3, they still have booths there and they still do the Nintendo Direct. So a lot of people wonder why? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this to me? Right? Well, here's the reason. They showed you guys all the games that they had years ago, and it finally caught up to them, right? When you launch a console with the likes of Knack, Drive Club, The Order 1886, Resogun, Killzone, that's not a very good lineup. Let's just be honest. So what did Sony do to lure people to the platform, aside from the fear-mongering about Microsoft trying to take your rights as gamers? They showed you games that were 3, 4, 5 years away. Some of those games still haven't even come out yet, right? So that leads us to where we're at right now. They have absolutely no. What are they going to show at next E3? Ghost of Tsushima again? They're going to show The Last of Us 2 again? They're going to show Death Stranding again? I'm going to see that guy walk in some more packages? Come on. Like, seriously. What were they going to show? Did anybody really think that they were going to show anything? They canceled PSX for a reason, right? They canceled the PSX for a reason. They have this show. People thought, hey, next E3 will be good at least. Nope. There's not going to be an E3. Not only that, but people are assuming that this means they're going to do something for the PS5. If you look at their investor calls, they told investors not to expect a pickup until 2021, 2022. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to think that they aren't going to launch a PlayStation 5 until 2021. I still think they kind of push it up to 2020, but that's a long time. So you go basically from E3 2018 until when? When's their next show? Right? When's their next show? I would love to see what the next show is going to be doing. Here's the thing. We know what Sony Studios are up to. They're all accounted for. Every single one of them. We know that most of them are years and years away from having anything to come out, anything to announce. And I know people want to believe the best. They want to believe in the best for Sony. We're gonna really have all kinds of stuff. We're gonna have this. We've got this developer and this developer. Well, at the end of the day, that's not really having that belief. That's not really factual. That's not saying that they're going to do it. So somebody going, well, they might do a PSX in 2019. Maybe. People said they were going to do a PSX this year. They said they were going to do a, they swore up and down that they were going to do a PSX. They swore up and down that they were going to do, the Paris Games Week. And they've done absolutely neither of those things. They've done neither of those things, So I find this to be incredibly hilarious. Reading their official Sony Interactive Entertainment thing. As the industry evolves, Sony Interactive Entertainment continues to look for innovative opportunities to engage the community. In a statement they made to Game Informer, PlayStation fans mean the world to us, and we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we have decided not to participate in E3 in 2019. We are exploring new and familiar ways to engage our community in 2019 and can't wait to share our plans with you. So when asked if Sony would push its event offsite similar to how EA provides the show, PlayStation Senior Vice President said, no, we will not activate or hold a press conference around E3. So obviously this is going to be something that's going to be disappointing for a lot of fans. A lot of people are probably going to be, damage controlling it. Some people will say that E3 is nothing, it's irrelevant. Now let's be clear, E3 is still the biggest gaming event of the year. It's the one where we get all of our news and information. So the bottom line is there is no more Spider-Man that came out. We don't have any release dates. So rumor is that stuff like Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, those are going to be pushed into 2020, and Death Stranding as well. So you don't have any of those games coming out next year. So why would you show them at E3 again when we've already seen them? I think that it's absolutely kind of interesting to talk about. And at the same time, I think that what Microsoft did is set themselves up for the place to be. To be honest with you, we're going to start seeing people sort of gravitate more towards Microsoft, because Microsoft was real quick to come out and say, hey, we're going to be doing RE3, and I'm not saying that, that Sony's doomed or anything like that, because that's ridiculous. I'm just saying, they built themselves up and they kind of have nowhere else to go, so very interesting to see this sort of come about. Is very funny, I just really do find it to be at least a little bit funny, because at the end of the day, Sony built up what they have this generation off of the whole fear mongering thing, and the whole, Microsoft wants to take your ability as gamers. You're not going to be allowed to play used games. You're not going to be allowed to do any of this stuff. And now it looks like the realistic situation is that Sony, they kind of did this to themselves. They showed off all their games super early. I'm not saying they didn't have some good games. I'm just saying it took them years and years to get these games, and now we're in a situation where, they have nothing left to show. So are these games that they announced, are they PlayStation 4 games? Are they PlayStation 5 games? Are they both? Like, what's the deal here? Like, I think a lot of people kind of want to know exactly what the deal is with this. And, Sony, I think, owe it to some of their fans and things to come out and kind of be upfront about that. I would love for them to be a little bit more upfront and a little bit, more just let people know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, as a fan, you got to know what you have to want to know what they're going to do. Right. So, what's that? I called this, Nerd Nate says, I called this when they released everything they had to beat Xbox. That's true. In fact, they were actually, they were actually, kind of calling their what they call it, Dreams 1 and Dreams 2. A couple of those E3s were Dreams 1 and Dreams 2. So Dreams 1 was when they announced The Last Guardian, Shenmue 3, and some of those games, right? And then the other one, and Final Fantasy 7 remake. Remember that? Final Fantasy 7 remake, that was going to be a thing. That was kind of, crazy that they were going to do that. So, it's going to be interesting to see kind of what they do. L. Paul says E3 2019 will be all about streaming. That's why they won't be there. Google, Amazon, Microsoft has them scared. I don't think it's going to be anything about, about streaming, to be honest with you. I think E3 is very important, because that's where we all get our news from. So Elemental Pino says, is Sony going to get a pass for this? Well, their fans seem to be giving them a pass, right? What if Microsoft were the ones that announced that they aren't going to be attending E3 this year? How do you think that the media and the people and the YouTubers would be taking that right now? How many people do you think would be saying it's the end of Xbox? They have no games, right? We'd be hearing it. Every YouTuber, you guys all know them. All the Xbox hating YouTubers, all the media, the gaming media, they would all be saying that Xbox is done, right? So, yeah, exactly. Microsoft did win E3. I guess there's not going to be any, I guess there's not going to be any debate over who wins E3 2019, right? So, I do think that it's funny. We also like the Ninja Theory stuff coming out and things like that. Sony, they're in a good spot, but how long will they be in that good spot? How long will fans just be okay with them kind of just phoning it in? I know for a fact, if Microsoft were skipping E3, people would definitely be hating on them. People would be saying it's the end of Xbox. People would be saying, Microsoft is done. They're going to turn into a streaming service. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. The bottom line is that it's not accurate. You know, Microsoft is in it for the long haul. Game Pass is a big thing. Sony, I don't really know. I'm not really sure exactly what Sony's deal is, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I do find that to be pretty much what I expected in terms of the damage control and things like that, right? Like, if you have such low expectations or that you're damage control, and this is what I'm talking about, right? When I say the reason why I can't have a Sony guy on my podcast, right, is because they won't ever admit that Sony messes up. They will never admit it. Look at the chat, right? Look at the chat, right? Where's the person that's a Sony fan that's gone, man, this does suck. I really wish Sony would do something. And the fact of the matter is that it's just nothing but damage control. Dirt Griggity says, Crap said it years ago, Sony blew their load too early, and it's obvious now. Every first-party studio is accounted for. Next gen's going to be a slow start for Sony. Exactly. That's exactly what I've been saying. Hey, JB, Sony has Days Gone and Dreams. You can't forget Dreams. You cannot forget Dreams because Lord knows everybody else did. So I refuse to let you forget it. So, yeah. As far as Microsoft is concerned, they confirmed in epic fashion that they are going to, in fact, be at E3 this year. So they have a lot of stuff to show and things like that. I cannot wait to see, here's the thing. It does take the drama out of next E3, right? Like, what are we going to talk about next E3? You know what I mean? It's so funny that there's not going to be any debate over who won E3 next year. It's basically Microsoft, you know? So I find that to be particularly interesting. Today actually is the 5-year anniversary of the PlayStation 4's launch. So I find that to be very interesting. Sony announced a bunch of stuff today, which is cool. What I found most interesting was they announced their most popular titles on PS4, the most downloaded games, and the top 5 best-selling, and there's no exclusives in any of that stuff. And it's Call of Duty, FIFA, Grand Theft Auto 5. Those are the best-selling games on PlayStation 4 all time. So it's always funny to me when Xbox gets called the shooter box, and yet here we are. We have Sony. The best-selling games are super casual games, are those Call of Duty games and like the FIFA games. Those are the games that like people buy like, once a year, So I do find it funny. It does go to show a long way that, Sony fans are just like every other fan. They play the multiplats, it's just really funny. So, this is very, very interesting. I got to say that, it is weird because I look forward to doing the E3 stuff. So it's going to be weird for me because, as you guys might know, I do podcasts pretty much all day on E3, right? We cover Microsoft's, we cover, usually like what we thought on EA's or Bethesda's or, and we cover Sony's that Monday. And so now that takes a big void out because now there's not going to be anything to talk about. So I do think that that's a little bit weird and it's going to take some getting used to. But I do think that, hey, guy, no. Look, we have been complaining about no games for 18 months. I don't get where you, like, I've complained about, you want me to tell you the things I complain most about to Microsoft? The fact that they charge people to play online on free-to-play games, right? I've complained about that. I've complained about the no games thing or that we wanted more games for over 18 months. I've been saying that. So, yeah, right there, man. I'm an Xbox fan or even a fanboy, and I'll even say, hey, I'm complaining about that. Whereas the PlayStation guys will never, ever admit anything wrong with PlayStation, right? Like, who cares if they don't want to do backwards compatibility and sell you an emulator for PS1 games for $100, right? Who cares? Who cares if they want to not hold any events for 2 years, right? Because there was a 2.5-year period there where they came out with some games for you. Well, that's what they should have been doing anyway, Let's just be real. Let's just be real, folks. Anything else we got here in the chat? I mean, what do you guys think? There's some Xbox fans, I'm sure. Let's see. Yeah, Sony should have passed over E3 last year, right? So if you think about it, we got that E3 from Sony where they showed 4 games, right? And At the same time, it was the 4 games that were already previously announced. Not only were they previously announced, but we had seen them in pretty much in depth previously. So it is weird that we're, still seeing these same games over and over and over again, But at the end of the day, I have to give, Microsoft credit where they get credit. They came out today and the Xbox Twitter was like, hey, we're going to be at E3. We'll see you at E3. And then when you saw Sony I can't believe Sony did that. I am shocked, to be honest with you. Like, just keeping it real with you guys, I am completely shocked. I am unbelievably shocked that this happened. It took me by surprise. I like, what are they going to do? Right? Like, what are they going to do? How, honestly, like, you got to have something for your fans. Elemental Pino says the worst thing is not having third-party support, and Microsoft has it in a bag, spades this time. You know what? You're 100% right. If you look at what Microsoft has done, they've capitalized on getting those third-party games playing and looking best on Xbox, and I think that's something that Xbox fans should be incredibly excited about, in the future. So as far as I'm concerned, that puts a little bit of pressure on Microsoft. They're going to have to come out there swinging. They're going to have to show some things. They haven't shown something new in years, right? And we've all been on them for that. We've all said, you know what? Microsoft has to show some things, and they do. They absolutely 100% have to show some things. They have to show something. They can't just expect because Sony's not going to be there that everybody's just going to love whatever they show. It's just not really good. It's just not going to happen. You have to go there and you still have to give it your all. You have to do everything that you can. So I expect Microsoft to go on there, announce games, maybe hardware, just give the ultimate performance. And, and I think that it's going to go a long way in showing that, they're really for the gamers. I think they've got to go out there and prove it. AK says, what are the chances Sony is planning something and just staying quiet? Maybe their own event later in the year to announce PS5. Definitely strange. Here's the thing. You would be right, but when they announced the PS4, they announced that in February of 2013, and then you still did E3 where you showed off the games and things like that. So, I mean, that's what you're going to have to do. You wouldn't just skip the biggest event ever because you're going to do a deeper dive to your console and what it has and the games and the features and things like that. So you're not going to just go, oh, we're not going to show anything. We're not going to talk about it. You're going to have to still talk about it, even if they had their own event, you're going to have to do a deeper dive. You're going to have third parties and all this kind of stuff. So I can just, it's just funny to see the damage control too. Yeah. So I would expect this gives Microsoft a chance to really jump on Sony in terms of E3. I would expect them to completely come out and just games, maybe hardware, price drops on the X and things like give them a clear explanation of what's going on with the future. So, I would love to see exactly what that. I think it's going to be huge. I think Microsoft really has the ball in their court now, and I feel bad for the people that maybe bought a PS4 for games like Death Stranding or Last of Us 2 when those are clearly going to be PlayStation 5 games. They might be on PS4 as well, but clearly those games are going to be switched over to the PS5. So, bring back David Jaffe. Well, no, man, you don't want to go back to playing that. So, let's see. I don't know exactly when. Like, I mean, there's been rumors. I've been saying PS5 in 2020 for a while, but you're looking at the end of 2020. The end of 2020. So you would look at November 2020, and we're in November 2018. That's 2 years from now. Can they go, 3 years without any kind of announcements, without something, right? Like, to me, they announced all these games, and now they have no release dates on most of them or release years even. Keep people abreast of the situation. Let us know what's going on. Are these going to be PS5 games? Are they going to be cross-gen like Zelda? Like, what's the deal there? No, there's definitely not going to be a PS5 in 2019. 100%. No chance. Zero chance. So if you look at what they said in terms of their investor call earlier this year, they said they're going to crouch down until 2021. I still think that it's going to be 2020, and they expect a little bit of something, you know, to be announced. Like, you're not going to announce the PlayStation. Here's the thing: if the PlayStation 5 is coming out in November of 2020, you don't announce it anytime, I don't think, in 2019. I think you hold an event in 2020, or you know what I'm saying? I that's just the way I look at it. So this is a little bit weird for Sony, in my opinion, to kind of do it this way. So Sony has never missed an E3. That's what's so shocking about this. They've never ever missed one, and so it is going to be a little bit weird. You know, I think this is one of those things that a lot of people will be talking about. A lot of people will be damage controlling, obviously. I think that it's an interesting situation. It's definitely an interesting situation. I got to say that I am completely taken aback by this. You know, I've been saying it for a long time. The reason why I said that this would happen was because Sony clearly was showing things that were so far out of being released, that how would you ever catch up? Right? So if you're showing something that's 4 or 5 years out, what happens in 4 or 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, that stuff, obviously, it's eventually going to catch up to you, and that's exactly what happened. And I think that Sony has to be a little bit wary of that in the future. You know, announce stuff maybe 2 years out, but this 3, 4, 5 years stuff out, I think that stuff is really, really the wrong way to go about things. So, as far as I can tell, I think that, you know, obviously it caught up to them, and they're having a little bit of some issues with this. I don't think it's going to be something that it should be something that Microsoft takes full advantage of. And they were on it today. Microsoft was out there tweeting and saying, hey, you know, hey, I am Sam. I get it. Crackdown still hasn't released. But you know what? You can't make fun of Crackdown when you've had stuff like Deep Down, Agent, Neo took 10 years to release. The Last Guardian took 9 years to release. So it's not like Sony has had games that haven't had trouble releasing, right? Exactly. You know? So I think that it's hilarious that people are like, oh, we still haven't had Crackdown. Microsoft kind of locked in what we're getting next year. It's not a bad lineup, man. Ori 2, Battletoads, Crackdown 3, Gears 5. That's a solid lineup. Sony's lineup, in comparison, Days Gone and Dreams, I'm sorry, but that's not really a great lineup, my friends. It's just not. So, yeah, but still, that's a Sony deal, right? I mean, does Sony not get any kind of blame for that? Come on, man. They're the ones that chose to announce it. They didn't have to announce it, you know? So I think that it's movie studios aren't game studios, my friend. You know, games are easier to cancel. So, yeah, you know what I mean? Just saying. Dreams, to me, what they had to, I'm not even hating. I think that could be a fun game. I just don't think it's a mass market game. You know, I think that that's just the truth of the matter. Those are the only things that Sony have confirmed for next year, my friend. Those are the only things. I don't even know about Judge's Eye, so I don't know anything about. I've never heard of it. So let's see, what else do we got? What other big AAA game is there? I mean, you guys just are out here defending them, like, like, so you remind me of Bart Simpson when he's like, Krusty is coming when he goes to Camp Krusty, because you guys just assume this. Like, they're a company, a faceless company that basically sold people on stuff way in advance, and now it's kind of come to fruition and come to a head where they don't have anything else to show, you know, and it is a bit unfortunate. I feel bad because I like doing all the conferences. I like responding to the conferences. I like talking about the games, and now there's nothing. Dude, just like Microsoft, I am Sam, just like Microsoft is not going to announce something in 2019 that releases in 2019. It's not going to happen, right? Sony's not going to do that either. It's just not going to be doing it. So, Nintendo, Nintendo does their directs. Here's the funny thing, right? Sony's not even going to have a booth at E3. They're not even going to have a booth at E3. So that's weird to me. You know, they're not even going to have a booth. That's the strangest thing, right? Like Nintendo, I get Nintendo, right? They don't have a big third-party presence. You know, they only show 3 or 4 games or whatever. I get it. So they do something else, right? So for me to see this situation is weird. It's really weird. It is really, really weird. So I think that this is going to be an interesting thing, because next year, that's when we're going to see the Ninja Theory game and stuff like that. And I think that it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to be hyped for, and good on Microsoft, because the ball's in their court. They've dropped the ball so many times when they've had a chance to really just slam dunk it over Sony, and they failed to do that multiple times. So what we're seeing now is that they actually have a chance to do that and kind of take home that W. And people are already giving them the W, man. They're already like, man, Microsoft doing it, Microsoft doing it, Microsoft doing it. We got to see that, man. We got to see Microsoft come out there, swing, come out and slam dunk on, like, face Sony, like, totally, man. Posterize them, It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Now, it to me, it's going to it's just going to be weird that there's no Sony conference, man. I actually, even though I know a lot of people think I'm a Sony hater, I look forward to doing their show, right? I'm at a loss. I can't believe that Sony is just like kind of doing that to their fans. It's a little bit weird. Give you a reason to buy an X. It's called Every Multi-Platform Game. Did you hear my list earlier, I Am Sam? I read off Sony's list of the top-selling PS4 games this generation, and they're all multiplats. The top 5 most popular titles, the top 5 most downloaded games, the top 5 best-selling games. They're all multiplats. But guess what? All those multiplats, my friends, look best and play best on the Xbox One X. I mean, just look at the people. Look at the people in the media, right? Switching to an Xbox One X to play Red Dead 2. That native 4K, that means something. That means something. That definitely means something. Hey, Don, it's not... Sony confirmed it. I linked it below if you want to check it out, Don. Sony confirmed it to Game Informer. Not only they're not doing E3, they're not going to have a booth. They're not doing any kind of thing. They're not doing anything. It just blows my mind. It really blows my mind. I'm kind of shocked. I am like, I absolutely am 100% shocked. So, yeah, I just feel like this is a weird thing. I get that they announce stuff early, but for me, as someone who likes to see the industry succeed, all jokes aside, it is a little bit underestimating, weird to see, that this has happened. So, dude, I like console wars in terms of, hey, my console is better, but at the end of the day, you need everybody to be competing and competitive. And so to see Sony kind of like not be competitive, yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer, to be honest with you. I do feel like, a little bit let down. As a platform holder, I feel a little bit let down, because when am I going to boot my PS4 back up? Like, I would love to know when is that going to happen? When is that going to be a thing? When can I play my PS4 again? When are they going to give me a reason? To be honest with you, they came out with a mid-gen refresh. So the PS4 is officially 5 years old today, and now they're already wrapping it up, even though they came out with a refresh. So PS5 isn't next year, dude. If the PS5 was next year, they would have to do an event. So, yeah, I don't want to see Sony fail either. That's why this is so shocking. It completely is shocking. I am absolutely, blown away that this is actually happening. That Sony would cancel. Why would you cancel it now? Right? We are like literally half a year away from E3 or more. What is that? August? Yeah, more than half a year away, and they've already canceled E3, and this is after canceling PSX. Elemento Pino says PlayStation still has no Halo killer, and well, of course not. Halo is amazing. Keep MNC on Sunday morning. We're gonna be doing MNC this Sunday. Mooch isn't around. Otherwise, we would have done that tonight. I told him, I was like, are you able to do the show tonight? Right. And and he's not, unfortunately. So, we're going to be doing it, Sunday for sure. So hopefully you guys are going to want to check that out as well. This is so interesting. So weird. Hoppy says it makes no sense to me to skip E3 because PS5 will be released in 2020. this has never happened before. Yeah. Do I think Microsoft will buy more studios? Yeah, I think they're going to buy more studios. Of course, it makes sense. Dude, I did answer you why you should get an X. Because it's going to play all your games better. Microsoft has a better network. They have a better controller, better ecosystem, better games. Well, that part's opinion, but the Xbox X hardware is definitely much better to play multiplats, which is the number one thing people on Xbox and PlayStation play. Oh, so XOXI. So they buy dying studios, huh? And they should buy something that's not. So Playground Games was dying. Ninja Theory, one of the top developers, Hellblade is winning all kinds of awards. So yeah, I don't really think that those are dying studios. I think that just in general, some of these mid to low AAA studios are having trouble existing because they need assistance, right? Like gaming is hit or miss. So one flop and your studio might have to close. So, I just think that Microsoft is actually doing a smart thing. They're saving the industry, right? So what you're considering buying dying studios, I consider saving the industry. They're saving these studios, That's something that maybe Sony should consider too, right? Sony's closed down quite a few studios lately, even this year. So, Phil already said that he knows the importance of having the most powerful console. If you guys remember all the resolution talk from, the beginning of the year. Wait, Lord Lugo says PS4 Pro is pretty competitive with the X crap. Dude, you are way wrong, bro. You are way wrong. It's not competitive with the X at all. The memory bandwidth, the memory allowed for games, the ability to do 4K assets. Only the X can do all that stuff, dude. You're talking about a 50% power difference. That's a huge difference, man. So, yeah, like the PS4 Pro can't do anything that the Xbox One X does. Honestly, not even competitive, not even close. Sony needed to keep its fan base interested. Not doing E3 shows is one thing. They're in trouble. Hey, I agree, man. I agree. So, hey, Phil has said a lot of things, but you know what? Phil has backed up exactly what they did. Dude, the ability to do wait, hold on, Timothy, are you saying that Microsoft has the ability to do 4K on their own first party games? Because the last time I checked, Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't a first party game, and that's native 4K. What about that? Assassin's Creed? What about that? Battlefield? What about that? What about Far Cry 5? What about Wolfenstein 2? Are those owned by Microsoft? No, but they're 4K games. Interesting. Very interesting. They do not look the same on the Pro and the X. Go look up your boy, what's his name? Brian Altano on Twitter. He switched mid gameplay of playing Red Dead 2 on the PS4 Pro and bought it on the X because it looks so much better. Bought it on the X because it looks so much better. So, I mean, you can sit there and tell me, that it looks about the same. So, but that's wrong. It's 100% wrong. I have both as well, just FYI. So, hey, wait. So the funny thing is, basically what this guy's telling me is these games that are on the PS4 Pro that are roughly 1200p to 1400p look the same as the ones that are on Xbox One X at native 4K, even though that's like a 2 million some pixel count difference. But you're probably the same guy that said there was a huge difference between 900p and 1080p when the Xbox One was out and it was getting games that were 900p and the PS4 was 1080p, which is a small difference. But you were probably hyping that up as a huge difference. So, okay, Timothy. Yeah, Sony doesn't have the PS4 Pro can't do AAA games outside of some sports games in native 4K and with a bunch of compromises as well. So, so yeah, I do think it's hilarious, pretty funny as well. Sony Sony has no press conference. I find it to be a little bit weird. I find it to be interesting. I find it to be sad as a gamer, as a fan. I look forward to these things. I do. I know a lot of people don't understand that, or you think that I hate Sony. I don't. I'm a platform holder. I was disappointed when Sony stopped support of the PS Vita because I have one and I think it's a fantastic piece of device. I'm disappointed. I am, because I look forward every year to going all out for the E3 shows, right? Everybody knows I do multiple shows with multiple people. And the fact that Sony is deciding not to do E3 this year, it really, really bums me out. It does. So, last time Crapgamer spoke like this was after the Paris Games event. Yeah, that event was nothing special, man. That was over what, a year and a half ago. So yeah, that's weird. You said that if resolution is even in a gamer's mind, well, I don't think that I've ever said that they aren't a real gamer, because I think there's gamers that even play on phones. Resolution isn't the big difference between the X and the Pro, by the way. The big difference is the graphics, which resolution is different than graphics. So if you look at like a 4K asset or 4K textures, those look so much better. That's better graphics. I think that's what you have to keep in mind when you're talking about PS4 Pro versus Xbox One X. Not to mention faster load times. You know what I mean? That's a big thing as well. Why would I be salty about Sony not having an E3 conference? Interesting. I think you have that backwards. I do, man. Hey, hit that like button, guys. I'm like 450 watching, so be very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, dude, PlayStation greatness, man. Like, Xbox fans are beyond the whole MPD thing, man. It's really beyond that stuff nowadays. I mean, I think that used to be important years ago. I'm not so sure it's important now, especially since Microsoft doesn't share any numbers anyway. And even the MPD, right? They don't share specific numbers either. Not only do they not share numbers, but they only talk about money accrued. So when they go, the number one best-selling bundle is the Xbox One X, not the S anymore, that doesn't mean that the S is selling more or selling less. It means that the X makes more money because it's more expensive. So they're the ones that even, who wins E3 2019? I can give you a little spoiler alert. I know who's not winning E3 2019, and that's Sony. So yeah. Hey, I mean, it kind of is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's surprising. It is surprising. And, hey, I don't care about resolution. I care about graphics. I'm a graphics guy, right? And there was basically no difference between graphics in Xbox and PlayStation. In fact, Rise, Son of Rome looked better than anything on PlayStation 4 for years. And I tried to tell people that. So, because why am I not on PC? Because I'm not a PC gamer, man. I'm a console gamer. I play consoles. That's why. And I bought a Xbox One X, which can do more than most PCs, for $500, man. And I get a 4K Blu-ray player to boot. Heck yeah, man. I'm super excited. I'm interested to see what's going to happen next year when stuff like Crackdown 3 surprises people, gets an 80 Metacritic, when Ori 2 gets a 90 Metacritic, when Gears 5 comes out and starts doing its thing, right? Like, that's when you're going to start seeing even more damage control. Sony not doing E3. Yeah, they're not doing an E3, man. Sorry. I know, it's shocking, right? No E3 from Sony, and they've never done that. They've never done that before. Think about that. Like, something is off there, Are they trying to save money? It's weird. It's a weird situation. I cannot believe it. It's so interesting and such a strange thing, because Sony has always done E3. So to see them not do E3, very, very shocking, very interesting. I have to say it's surprising too, just wow, they're not going to do it. Interesting. And if you guys missed it, this is what they said. As the industry evolves, Sony Interactive Entertainment continues to look for innovative opportunities to engage the community. PlayStation fans mean the world to us, and we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we have decided to not participate in E3 in 2019. We are exploring new and familiar ways to engage our community in 2019 and can't wait to share our plans with you. So they were also asked, are they going to do an off-site deal at E3? And they said, no, we will not activate or hold a press conference around E3, period. So they're not going to do any kind of E3. Obviously, they've already announced all their heavy hitters. So it is a little bit weird. They canceled PSX this year, so it's so weird that they're not doing anything, right? They've been so quiet and so kind of just down on everything. So this is so weird, such a weird situation, and just as a fan, I just find it to be interesting, So, yeah. Well, I mean, look, to each their own, man. I'll never knock someone for wanting to play something else, man. I prefer to play on Xbox. If you like playing on something else, man, more power to you. I just prefer to play Xbox. That's my own thing. And it just so happens that Xbox One X is a very powerful, great machine that just is incredible. So, yeah. I mean, so look, I would have almost guessed that Sony would have definitely 100% decided to keep doing E3. It doesn't really make any sense. Like, unless you realistically have nothing, right? Nothing. So I think this is a weird situation to see, for sure. I would say that Microsoft is in an incredible, interesting position. Just because they'll have the floor all to themselves. So as far as I can tell, this is going to be Microsoft's time to shine. Now, what can they do to capitalize, right? You guys might be asking this as well. Well, since Sony's not doing anything and they might tease a PlayStation 5 later in the year, Microsoft needs to, hey, here's Scarlett. Here's what she can do. Here's Ninja Theory's new game. Here's what Playground Games is working on. Here's the Initiatives deal. Microsoft has that chance to go out there and do something really special and take that thunder away from Sony. Because when it comes to next generation, you only get one first impression. And we all know this, right? Because why? Because Microsoft's first impression with the Xbox One was bad. And they paid for it the entire generation. So imagine them just not having anything for Sony to latch onto and for people to hate on and things like that. That's what Microsoft needs to do. They need to go out there and do what they can do. Frank says, Art of War says, when you are strong, appear weak to your enemy, and when you are weak, appear strong. Sony has something up their sleeve. Obviously, these guys are doing they're building their next-gen consoles, right? But Art of War says also, that, well, I've read it, but basically what happens is Sony's going to have to eventually come out with what they're going to do. The thing is, us as gamers can go, we know what each one of their studios is up to. All their games have either come out or already been announced. So you can also take the Art of War and kind of toss it out the window because we know what's going on, right? So Sony's quiet and they can't announce anything because they've already announced everything, right? So the other stuff that is getting worked on, no doubt, is PlayStation 5 stuff, which is years away. So what are they going to announce? They can't really announce anything. So, I think that's going to be a very interesting time. And next year, man, very excited to see what Microsoft is doing. Can't wait, man. It's going to be hilarious next year, I think, in particular. So, I'm very excited to see what they're going to be doing. Just overall, I think gaming in general has come such a long way, that that we should all be excited about it, and now the fact that, that Sony's not going to be doing it, I got to say, man, I'm a little bit bummed out, a little bit bummed out. But at the same time, as mostly an Xbox supporter and fan, I'm extremely, extremely happy that Microsoft is going to have this chance to kind of get the jump on Sony for a change, because let's be honest, they really kind of got their teeth kicked in this generation. And most of the time, they didn't even deserve it, to be honest with you. I mean, they've done so much positive for gaming, and people just kind of overlook them. and just honestly, just don't give them the credit that they deserve for the things that they've done, the recovery that they've done. It's very unfortunate that they don't get the credit that they deserve. So hopefully they can kick off next gen, with a little bit of the praise that I feel like they've deserved this entire time. Like I think they've done a lot of great stuff. Where else would you be able to play an entire first party portfolio day and date for Game Pass prices, right? Like that to me says all you need to know about Microsoft, man. They more care about the fans in a big way. That's very important to me. I think that's really cool. And Sony, the thing that I'll remember the most for this generation is them saying no to almost anything that was consumer friendly. Almost anything that was consumer friendly, they said no to. Whether it be EA access or backwards compatibility or crossplay. They allow a beta for Fortnite because it's the biggest game in the world and people started leaving PlayStation for it, but they're not allowing crossplay as a whole, maybe like one game, and I think that's a bit of a shame. So, it's very, very interesting to see this kind of come about and a little bit disappointing too. So, and by the way, you guys, so it's been teased that there's going to be some interesting Microsoft news tomorrow. So I would be on the lookout for that as well. There's going to be some interesting Microsoft news, according to Brad Sams and some other people. Apparently, this is what I've been told. Hold on to your hat. That's what I was told, quote unquote, hold on to your hat. Microsoft has some kind of big news to announce, and it's going to be big. Hey, we got a bunch of people in here watching. Please hit that like button, share it, subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate it. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's keep it going. Let's break out that little Fred Durst. Keep rolling. Let's go, man. Let's keep it rolling, man. I would love to hear your guys' input on this. Like, where's the Sony fans, man? Where's the Sony fans? Let's see. Dude, I am Sam. If you're a console gamer, then why do you keep bringing up PC? Like, I'm a console gamer. I couldn't care less about PC at all. And I can tell you why. It's nothing personal. I just don't want to play against people with keyboard and mouse. I don't want to play against people that cheat, right? Like, it's really easy to cheat and do that kind of stuff with PC. I don't want to play against it. So I play Xbox. I prefer Xbox. It's my thing. I play in a big, comfortable chair on a 4K TV with HDR in a big old comfortable chair, right? That's how I like to play. I'm not a PC guy. I never will be. It's not my thing. If you are a PC guy, then more power to you. Play it on PC. It doesn't matter to me. I'm a console guy. I can play 4K HDR on my big screen for $4.99. That is incredible. And I can watch 4K Blu-rays on it too. Come on, man. Let's get with it, man. Let's just be real. If you're a console guy, then you're not worried about PC. I do think that Microsoft's going to have two different versions of maybe three, because they're going to have a streaming device. Maybe that's not even tied into the next X or the next Xbox. I don't really know. I do think that, no, actually, I think the Xbox was incredible this generation. It launched, the reason why I went with Xbox at the beginning of the generation was strictly because of the games, right? So let's look at the launch lineup of Xbox One versus the PS4 and then the launch year. So Xbox One launched with Dead Rising 3, Rise Son of Rome, Killer Instinct, Zoo Tycoon, let's see, Forza Motorsport 5. Within the first few months, it had Titanfall. Within that first year, it had Halo Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 2, and Sunset Overdrive, all within the first year. That's an incredible lineup, and other stuff. Sony had Knack, Killzone Shadowfall, and Infamous. And then I think Little Big Planet 3. So, I mean, it's pretty clear why I went with Xbox, right? To be honest with you, Killer Instinct did a big part in selling me on the Xbox. So, I just got to keep it real. I bought an Xbox One because of the games. If PlayStation had games, I think that I would have went with them. So, but they didn't. So I bought a PlayStation when I thought I was going to be able to play Uncharted 4. They ended up delaying it multiple times. So I basically had nothing to play on my PlayStation 4 for a long time, which was a little bit interesting. Hey, almost 500 watching. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe. All that kind of stuff. Let's get us over 200 likes if we can. Let's see. Anybody got any other questions? What do you guys think? I mean, this is weird, huh? Like, even if you don't like PlayStation, and a lot of people assume that I don't, like, what do you think about this? What do you guys think? It's very, very interesting. I'm very interested to hear what you guys think about it. So weird. It is. It's just the weirdest thing ever. You know. I just, like I said, man, I look forward every year to doing the E3 roundup. I do the press conferences and things like that, and now I won't be able to do the PlayStation one, so I guess I'm kind of bummed out. Oh, I'm sure we're gonna get Halo Infinite news at E3 for Microsoft. They're gonna be at E3. They confirmed that today multiple times. So yeah, I think we're gonna be good there, folks, for sure. I'm very excited about what's going to be shown at E3. Hell, at least Microsoft and Sony will be there. Or I mean, at least Microsoft and Nintendo, even if Sony's not going to be there. So that's a little bit weird for me that they're not going to be there. But I think, I think it'll be good. I gotta say, man, I am enjoying some of the damage control. I hope that I never sound that bad when I talk about Microsoft, because it is hilarious to see all the different comments like, oh, E3, it's not as big as it was. I can see why they're doing it. Oh, good on Sony. It's genius. Right. So I do think that it's funny. No, Sony does have 2019 games. They have Dreams and that Last of Us knockoff, Days Gone. So they do have that. So the console wars are a joke anyways. True that, my friend. True that. I love that Phil's been all over it on Twitter saying E3 is an important place to be. Of course. E3 is the biggest event of the year. E3 is the biggest event of a year. Anybody that has anything to talk about is going to talk about, and they're going to talk about it at E3. So they didn't have enough games to warrant going. Of course they didn't. They're not going to have a small event. They might do something, but they're not going to do anything anytime around E3. What are they going to talk about? Unless they're talking about the PS5, we already know the games that they have coming. Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2. Those are their games. We've already seen them multiple times. What else could they do at E3, right? Microsoft are the ones that haven't talked about anything recently. So yeah. Well, Nerdy Mastermind, I would disagree with you right there, right? So trying to belittle people because they're into a particular brand over the other, that's like belittling people for liking a sports team over another, right? In the days, just how we are nowadays, it's okay to back something. Like doesn't make you immature. There's a level of immaturity that you can take it to for sure. But just going, hey, I prefer Ford or Chevy or the Baltimore Ravens or the New York Yankees or Xbox, right? That doesn't make somebody, immature or anything like that. It's just for fun. A lot of people like to get behind something. That's all that is, man. There's nothing bad to it. People can take it to a bad place, but, not really. For me, anyway, I don't really get personal or anything like that. So very interesting to see what comes of it, though. I like it in terms of, like I said, just the fun factor. I don't want to see people like take it too far or anything like that, because I think that can happen. I hate to see that happen. To be honest with you, like for me personally, I keep it light, I keep it fun. I like to entertain with goofy little videos, but I'm not one that's going to sit there and attack people. And, if you have a different opinion than me, hey, that's cool. I'm perfectly fine with that. I am, man. I think that's fine. We all have opinions, and I think that's evident, and yours is just as valid as mine. I just happen to have a bit of a platform as well. Some other people do too. So I think that I will keep using the platform to just kind of talk about mine. Some people have, same type of opinion as me. And I think that that's really interesting. That's what makes this so interesting. I'm not any better than anybody else. you know. So Predator says, despite the news today about Sony not attending, do you think E3 is just not as sexy as it used to be? Companies have slowly started to do their own shows during E3. No, here's the thing, Predator. I would maybe agree with you a little bit, but these other companies that are pulling out of E3, like EA does one across the street, Nintendo does their directs, they still have booths at E3, right? It's still the most attended event and watched event for gaming. The fact that Sony's not even going to have a booth there, that is very, very, very interesting. That's very, very interesting, because why wouldn't they have any games to show off? I don't understand why they wouldn't show off anything. They're not going to show off even like, I get maybe not doing an event, but why wouldn't you have your games playable on the floor unless there was something up? Unless there's something up, I don't understand why they wouldn't have these games playable, up there ready to kind of for everybody to enjoy. I don't understand it, to be honest with you. So it is weird. It's definitely weird. I think it's unexpected too. That's the thing. It's super unexpected. I think that it's very unexpected. And I think that, I at first, I don't even really know what to make of it. I was like, this can't be right. Right? I mean, Sony not doing E3? Are you kidding me? Like, come on. Like, that doesn't sound right. Like, Sony, why would they skip E3? It doesn't make any sense. Look, they've got loyal fans, but you're only loyal to a fault, right? And Sony not doing shows for almost 2 years? At what point does it start coming out that people aren't happy with that? Roadhouse says, as someone who loves Sony, I'm really pissed that they canceled PSX and E3. I don't understand where they're coming from. Dude, you're talking to a guy that podcast for 2 days straight at E3, right? And now I'm like, Sony takes away some of that. Even if I'm, not a fan of what they show, why not show some third-party stuff? At least show me something. I would love to see something, even if it's third-party, because I'll play the third-party stuff on my Xbox anyway, I would love to do that. So, I do think that it's interesting, and it's completely out of the ordinary. And I do expect that Sony is, kind of crouching down and preparing for, whether it be next gen or whatever. I'm sure they are, but when are they going to actually announce something? And what kind of games? Like, are the games that they've already announced, are those going to be PS5 games? Are those going to be both PS4 and PS5 games? Well, yeah, they haven't done Gamescom in 3 years or 4 years. So they're not going to do games. They didn't even do, they usually were doing the Paris Games Week. They didn't even do that this year. So, Injustice 2, Legendary. Yeah, because the Xbox, if you're a gold member, you got the Xbox game sale going on right now. So, yeah, very interesting. I think it's, look, I'm not really making fun of Sony. I just think it's interesting. I think that it's completely unorthodox for them to just not do any conference in almost 2 years, right? So, no, PS5 is probably November 2020. So, yeah, they're not going to release a console early in the year. It doesn't make sense. But it does give Microsoft a lot. Hey, Lace Chucks, courage. Yeah, that's what Mooch would be saying if he were here. Hashtag courage, right? So, I don't know. Hey, if you guys do like E3 conferences, though, guess what? There's a console for you. I was having fun on Twitter today posting those memes and stuff. You can't say wait for next E3 if there is no next E3. Am I right, guys? Am I right? Heck yeah. I have a good time with this stuff, man. It is fun, and I don't take it too seriously. Maybe you guys shouldn't either. But like I said, to me, this was something that kind of came out of the blue, and it was very interesting. Very, very interesting. I couldn't be more shocked. If I woke up with my face glued to the floor, to be honest with you. So very, very shocked. Any more questions in the chat? It's so interesting, man. Did Sony just hit 90 millions? If so, Is that one? Whole Yobi Clown says, "Hey, crap. Love you, my brother. Off topic question. Name one thing in life that you're looking forward to the most." Let me think. Forward to the most, man. You know what? Just in general, man, like in my day-to-day life, I help a lot of animals. So I'm looking forward to the day when there's less animals that actually need help. You know, when people actually step up and do the right thing and help animals and stuff like that. So when you deal with like rescue animals and abused animals and stuff, and you see that kind of stuff every day, you hope to see less of that. So I live for the day that there's going to be less of that, to be honest with you. So Eternal Shada says, do you think the next gen Xbox was in production when Scorpio was announced for Phil to announce that last year? Should be on his phone. I think Microsoft and Sony are going to launch very close to each other in terms of the next Xbox and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Derek, man, there's no concrete numbers on the Xbox One, and Sony just announced that they shipped 86 million, so that's not 90. So yeah, I mean, I realized that it's cool to round up for Sony and just come up with numbers out of thin air for Microsoft, but let's not do that, okay? Let's see. Dude, I just said if you're a console gamer, you will play on a console. If you want to play in 4K for $500, buy an Xbox One X. If you want to play 4K in a PC, then play in a PC, but you're going to spend more than $500, you know? That's just a fact. I like baked potatoes too. Hopi. He says, remember last year when everybody was alarmed by Microsoft's small floor space? I remember. I do. I do. I remember that, and that's going to be hilarious. Sony doesn't even have floor spot there. That's the funny part, right? Like they have no floor space. It's not they've got nothing going on there. That's the interesting part. You know, that's what I find to be the most interesting is that not only are they not going to be doing a conference, but they don't even have anything going on with that. You know, they don't have anything going. They don't have anything to show. I get that, you know. Yeah. Hey, and tomorrow, like I said, if you guys are just joining me, there's going to be a big Xbox announcement tomorrow. I was told to hold on to my hat. I didn't hear why, but I was just told to hold on to my hat and that there's going to be a big Xbox announcement tomorrow. So if I were you guys, I would look for that. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I think that it's going to be something big, and I'm very excited about it. So Microsoft said the One is ahead of sales of where 360 was. I don't know exactly. You know, it's so hard because people just invent numbers, right? So Microsoft has been at 35 million now for 3 years, right? So I do think that that's a little bit weird, you know. Nobody's going to take that space, apparently. I don't know, you know. Very interesting. I have to say, like I said, completely shocked that they did that. Sometimes I slice it so thin I can't even see it. Hey, Microsoft 100% has to hit a home run at E3. What they have to do is show unannounced games. You have to have unannounced games that people, you know, that people haven't heard of, new IP, right? You throw, you know, you throw something out there that people haven't seen before from Ninja Theory or one of their new studios. That's a win, right? That's a huge win, and I think people will respond to that. You know, and hopefully, you know, we get to see that from Microsoft. I think that they're going to go all out. We're going to get some kind of, I don't know if it's E3 related tomorrow, but supposedly we're going to get something incredibly interesting tomorrow about, you know, what they're going to be doing. So I'm very excited. I got to say, man, I am, you know, and I get excited easy. Look, I'm a guy that gets excited easy when it comes to stuff. You know, I just am. That's just in my nature, and I know some people don't like that, but that's just how I am, to be honest with you. And you know, and that's, if you're not as excitable or as, like, I tend to be optimistic, right, and happy. I just enjoy video games, man. I get up and I'm playing Red Dead 2, and I'm almost done with it, and I'm just so happy with that. You know what I mean? And you know, some people, you know, aren't like that. They just want to be negative all the time, and I can't be like that. You know, so I am bummed out by this move, but I'm also weirded out by this move. You know, it completely doesn't make sense, right? Like it doesn't make sense on any. Even if you were going to announce the PS5 next year, right? Let's say you were going to announce the PS5 next year. Why would you not have E3? Because when they announced the PS4 in February of 2013, you announce it, you show some games. Here's what it can do. You still held an E3 conference because you got to show off more games and go into a deeper dive about what you're going to offer, right? So to me, this is weird. It's strange, but it does leave Microsoft in a unique position to actually go out there and accomplish something that, you know, that they haven't had since the 360. They get the jump on Sony for a change. That's what they have right now. They have the jump on Sony, and I think that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I'm very, very excited to see what they do and how they take advantage of that. You know, I absolutely think it's incredible, and I gotta say, man, I'm thrilled with what they're doing. So, let's see. Phil should congratulate Sony on their E3 news. You know what? Phil is a nice guy, right? Phil is a nice guy. So let's be clear with this. Phil wasn't necessarily taking a shot at Sony. He was just letting people know that Microsoft is going to be there. But I do think that it's funny that the way he worded that. So Microsoft, absolutely, now or never, they have to get out there, knock it out of the park. They got to show their heavy hitters, show anything they got, anything. You guys ignore sales, but that's the common metric that determines success in a business. Derek, if that were the truth, why is Apple not using sales anymore for their iPhones and their iPads and all that kind of stuff, right? I just got to say, like, why aren't they? Right? That's an old school metric, my friend. That's an old school metric. Times have changed. Times have changed. It just has. I know that it's hard to deal with, right? I had a hard time with it. I'm that guy that likes the numbers, that likes to win the NPD, or I did years ago. But it's like, how can you do that when you're the only one racing? Microsoft isn't running the race. They're not giving numbers. There are no real numbers for Xbox. VG Charts is wrong. Any of these other sources are wrong. There is no official numbers for Xbox One sold. That's the part that annoys people, I think. Right? So people invent numbers. Oh, 35 million, 18 million, 12 million. Like it gets lower and lower every year. So, dude, iPhone sales are down, but there's still millions and millions and millions and millions, right? There's more important things than the sales numbers. And I think that that's why it's, you know, Microsoft has been very smart with what they're doing. So, no, I don't think Sony's leaving the gaming industry. They just don't have anything to show. Come on. You know, they don't have anything to show. Oh, Teal Harbor says it's not even 35 million. Way less. I would disagree with you, but who cares at the end of the day? Who cares? You know? Do you think Sony are holding back for a mass game overload for the PS5 launch? No, there's no PS5 in 2019. If this tells you guys anything, is that there is no PS5 in 2019. It means probably 2020. Apple just became $1 trillion company. Yes. And they're not announcing numbers anymore. Is this going to be a 360 PS3 all over again? I think so. I think that Microsoft sees an opportunity and they're going to take that opportunity and really stick it to Sony. Hey, hit that like button, guys. Share it out if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. You know, I like doing these sometimes by myself, just getting in here, chatting with you guys, answering some questions, shooting the breeze, you know, just having a good time, man. It's not that serious. I find this to be very interesting news, very newsworthy. So I wanted to do a little bit more than a little 4-minute video. You don't know that they don't have games to announce. Corey, here's the thing. Count up how many first-party studios Sony has, right? And then count out when was their last game released and when was their last game announced. So we know Naughty Dog's doing The Last of Us 2, which hasn't come out yet. We know Death Stranding hasn't come out yet. We know Ghost of Tsushima hasn't come out yet. We know Days Gone hasn't come out yet. So we know what their heavy hitter studios are doing. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is probably being worked on, but that's years away. Detroit just released this year, and it took them 5 years to make that. So whatever they're making is years away. Their first-party studios are literally years away. GT Sport just released. and they take forever to make a game, years away. So we know exactly what they're doing. We know exactly what they're doing, and it's not much. It's not much. So that's just the point. Blue Point isn't a Sony studio. Blue Point just remasters games, guy. For next year, guys, PSX for next year after E3. PSX, yeah. Hey, they could have delayed The Last of Us 2 for PS5. I still think it would be a mistake not to release it on the PS4. You got 100 million install base, right? I mean, it just makes sense. It doesn't make sense not to release it on the console that has 100 million people. You know? It completely just doesn't make sense. I find it to be very interesting, you know? So, very, very interesting stuff. Yeah, hey, I'm not saying that it's the end of Sony by any means, you know? I like the E3 stuff. I wish that they would still be doing it, even if they don't have anything big to show. Like I said, at least the third party stuff would have been cool, you know. I love seeing the damage control though. It does kind of make me kind of happy. Interesting. Demon Souls remake. Like, is that really a thing that people want? Demon Souls remake? Let's see here. Dude, what has Sony come out with that's been so great? They come out with Horizon Zero Dawn is the only decent new IP they've come out with this generation, realistically. So, yes, Session is coming to Xbox. It's from the creators of Skate, so I think that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. This was Microsoft. You know, ponies would be saying Microsoft is done with consoles. Yeah, I agree 100%. It wouldn't be just the Sony fanboys, right? It would be the media running with Microsoft is dead. They're getting out of gaming. They hate gaming. Gamers, they hate them all. That's exactly what they'd be saying. Yobi Dren says, what game series would you like to see return? I want to see, dude, I like old school stuff like Banjo-Kazooie. I was on that train, man. I wanted to see Banjo come back. You know, I would have loved to see that. Who never said Detroit never happened or Bloodborne never happened? I don't get the question, nerdy mastermind. I don't really get it. Yeah, like I'm not understanding. I'm not sure about the teraflops of the next Xbox. I haven't heard. Well, Bloodborne was made by From Software, but Sony actually assisted, and they actually own the IP. But again, that's just realistically kind of a Souls thing. You know, I would love to see a new Killer Instinct at E3 as well. I love Killer Instinct. That's the big reason I got an Xbox One, because I heard the combo breaker at E3 in 2013. Mecha Assault would be great. Yeah, I would love to see Banjo-Kazooie come back, man. I like it. Look, I'm playing through Spyro right now, man. I like those old school platformers, man. It takes me back. I have a good time with that stuff, you know. Honestly, I do. It's just I love it, you know. It's just my childhood. Yeah, you know, it's like I said, it's been an interesting news day. I would have loved for this to have been like an M&C or a Booch and Crap thing, but you know, I think that it's very interesting to see that Sony is canceling this stuff. They canceled PSX. Interesting and unfortunate. For people that don't play old games, Sony gamers still playing old PlayStation 2 consoles today. Hey man, that PlayStation 2 was pretty cool. Let's see. Dude, yeah, Killer Instinct, man. When I saw the Killer Instinct stuff in 2013 and I heard the voice, I was like, man, I gotta get me that, man. I gotta get it. Am I getting Dead or Alive 6? Probably not. I don't know. I haven't really played much Dead or Alive since like the original Xbox. So I'm not really sure if I will or not, you know. I gotta say though, I'm excited to see what the future brings now that Sony is kind of out of the picture, you know, in terms of they have nothing to they have nothing to really show, you know. It's Microsoft. It's on Microsoft. We got to see what they got to do. You know, they got to bring it. They got to bring it. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if this is a masterful chess move for Sony. If the PlayStation 5 is coming out in 2020, I've been saying that for 2 years, right? I've been saying that for 2 years. 2020, that's when the PS5 is coming out. It makes the most sense. That gives you 7 years of PS4. Basically, what happened was their announcements caught up to them. They announced everything so far in advance. That's basically what happened, and they have nothing left to show. What can they do? They only showed 4 games at E3 last year, folks. One of those already released, Spider-Man. So the only games they have left that they can show are 3 of the ones that they just showed last year at a deep dive of those games. So there's no way that they can do another E3 with those games. It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So very interesting to see Sony kind of pull this last minute or whatever. I just very, very like interesting to see this, man. And like I said, I am a little bit bummed out because I like doing the E3 shows. I like covering Microsoft and Sony and all this stuff. I like that. I enjoy that. So the fact that Sony won't be there, that does suck. What's up, Salty? How's it going, my man? Yeah, so weird to see this. So weird. Do you think Sony's waiting and seeing what Microsoft does at E3? No, because these companies, here's the thing. Even though Sony did that at E3 2013, right? What did Sony really do? They already had a more powerful console. What they did was threw together a little thing showing how you share games, and they unbundled the camera that they were going to originally put in every console, right? Because if you look at the original PS4 leaks, every one of them came with that iToy thing, right? Because they wanted people to buy into VR, and every controller lights up the track on that thing. And the fact that they took it out and then cut the price, that was the only thing they did. Like, Microsoft, if they announce Scarlet at E3, it's not going to have a price. I think that they might talk about it or something like that, but I think that they're going to let, there's not going to be much for Sony to do. I think Microsoft has an idea what Sony's doing, and they probably want to beat them. It might be more expensive. The next Xbox might be more expensive than the PlayStation 5. But that's on us whether or not we want to support that, whether or not we want to go and get that. That's, like I said, that's on us. It's up to us as fans. Everything, everything is up to us as fans. Whether or not we support something, whether or not, we don't. It's completely up to us. So, for me personally, I am excited to see what Microsoft has to show, because I know that the ball's in their court completely, and for the first time in like forever, they actually have a chance at doing something. You know what I mean? Like at kind of getting the jump for the first time since the since the Xbox 360 days. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they have to show. I'm just being honest with you. Very excited. I know some of you guys are too, man. But again, if Microsoft drops the ball, that's their fault. That's a them problem, because they've had the chance to real. Now they have, look, 6, 7, 8 months to plan for this, right? They have 6, 7, 8 months to get everything ready to do the best E3 they've ever done. So if they don't, then that's on them, and I have no problem calling them out. I have no problem. So I do kind of want to maybe do a little bit of a troll here and say, anybody that was kind of making fun of XO 2018, Sony didn't even do a PSX, and now they're not doing a E3. Yeah, it's interesting, because I would rather have a lame or a quote unquote boring show than no show. Just saying, just saying. Just saying, guys. Anyway, yeah, it's been a really fun show. Hey, you guys know what's on at 9 is the Saltiest podcast, right? That's a good show. My good buddy Salty in there is going to be doing a good show and stuff like that. You guys can check it out. The next game I'm anticipating, Battlefield 5. I haven't installed. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so I'm looking forward to kind of playing that. And then somebody is gifting me. What is that damn game? Darksiders 3. So I'm kind of looking forward to playing that as well. When a Sony fan admits that Sony ain't perfect, give me a respectful one. That's all I ask, man. Show a little bit of respect. Goes a long way, to be honest with you. Yeah, hit that like button, all that kind of stuff, man. I would appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I would love to see what what these companies have. Again, Microsoft has a lot riding on what they're doing at E3 next year, right? Let's just assume that they can go out there and do it. They got to go out there and get it done. You can't just expect because Sony's not there that everybody's going to hand you the W. You got to go out there and earn it still, and hopefully that's what they do. I'm looking forward to seeing that they can go out there and get that done. They need to get it done. That's what I want to see. I want to see Microsoft go out there and earn it. Go and earn it. I would love to see it. So show some games. Give the fans what they want. You have 8 months, 7 months, whatever it is. Get it done. So yeah, I know. I've been seeing like this joke headline. Sony cancels E3. Here's why it's genius. Like I can almost guarantee you that's coming, right? We're gonna see that at some point, but it's not genius. It's not at all. So hey, no problem. I like talking with you guys. I like interacting. Even some of the trolls, man. Just keep it not personal. Just keep it light about gaming, and we'll get along fine, man. You can speak your mind. You can have a different opinion than me, and it's fine. It's 100% fine. So, it's just all about, we're all gamers here. I actually am disappointed. I would have liked for Sony to do an E3. It disappoints me. As a fan, as a gamer, it's less that I got to do around E3, kind of is. AJ says there's a chance that if they can't nail this one, I don't know what to say. You're right, man. If I saw the Greg Miller stuff, man, I've never seen some damage control like that before in my life. But hey, it is what it is, man. Do you think do you think Phil will call out Sony at E3 or Nintendo? Nah, they won't. Phil's a nice guy. He's not going to call out anybody. Come on. He's not going to do that at all. Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's all good though, man. I really do appreciate you guys coming out here and supporting the show and just being rocking out with me, man. I've been doing this for 4 years now. Oh, Luca, come on. We're cool. We're cool like that, right? Well, I mean, not like that, but I mean, although maybe, would be give it a try. They say once you go fat, you never go back. Just saying. Yeah. So you know what? Look, I'm excited about what Sony's gonna, what Microsoft's gonna show. Next year's gonna shape up to be interesting. There's probably gonna be a ton of leaks for PS5, a ton of leaks for, Xbox Scarlet, whatever. We're gonna hear from Microsoft. We're gonna hear from Sony, and it's gonna be fun, man. I'm interested to see what's going on. It is unexpected. Sony's missing E3 for the first time ever. And so for me personally, I am bummed about that. I like the competition, man. I like it. I do. I like when these companies kind of go back and forth, and now it's just like a one-man race or whatever. Kind of is what it is, So I would love to see Microsoft actually take advantage of this for the first time ever. They've had chances before, right? They have chances to take Sony down multiple times. And they missed out, man. They haven't done it. So very interesting to see what happens next year. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Definitely 100%. Let's see. All the third-party trailers are now be shown there. But hey, yeah, that is weird, man. There ain't going to be no trailers shown on PlayStation 4. It's all Xbox, man. All Xbox. Let's see. Anything else? Any other questions before I wrap this up, folks? Any other questions? Let's see. Anything else? Microsoft might just bundle gold and they will probably offer a combination of the two, but they're not going to do it. Just force you to get both. What is my thoughts on Days Gone box art? It looks generic. It looks very generic. Do these companies see each other as competition anymore? I think Sony thinks of Microsoft as competition, but Microsoft doesn't think of Sony as competition. I don't know when Halo Infinite launches. I'm going to guess 2020 with the next Xbox. Perfect Sunday. Ravens win. I play video games. The Patriots lose. The Steelers lose. The Browns lose. The Bengals lose. Yeah. That'd be great. 7 new studios. What's going to be the next narrative? Crap. The next narrative I can already tell you is going to be that they're not true exclusives because they're available on Windows as well, or because you can stream them on the phone or whatever. And then when Sony starts allowing that as well, you know, then the narrative will change to something else. I haven't really figured. I'm going to make a wheel like the Wheel of Wonder, but the wheel of narrative changes, and I'm going to spin it, and then it'll come on to something, and then we'll see, just what what the difference of the narratives will be. So very interested to see what you guys think in the future. And again, I appreciate you guys coming out here. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Friday, tomorrow, we're going to be doing Crossfire. Sunday, MNC mornings on this channel, and we look forward to seeing you guys there. I really do appreciate rocking out with you guys, man. Go play some games, have a good time, rack them up, have a great one, and we'll catch you later, man. Really appreciate you guys supporting me. Thanks a lot. Have a good night. Later.